Hello guys, welcome to another video. So now we're going to look at VIX 75. We haven't looked at this one in some time now, so make sure that you stick with me until the end because I see structure is looking very interesting right now, so you might end up getting a very nice setup or a trade. So let's get started. All right, so we're going to start with the highest time frames and just check how is the bigger picture looking like. Then we will come back and drill all the way down to the time frame, so we're going to trade. So I'm going to take you through each and every step on what to do exactly when you get to the highest time frame, and then what you need to check out for before you move to the next time frame, until we get to these time frames here where we will make the trading decisions to say from here this is what we are going to do. All right, so let's get started. So we're gonna start with the monthly chart, and just to have a look on the monthly to say what are we seeing here. Okay, so this is the structure on monthly, which is very interesting. So I'll tell you why I'm saying it is interesting, because if you look at this support here, this rally, base rally, we can just put it there and say that the price currently, basically, it hasn't moved lower than this red candlestick. So that's why when you need to check the key structures on your monthly, you will say that on monthly the price is inside an area of support, which is this one here. We haven't broken it. And then in terms of the resistance, this is our next area of resistance. So that's the key structures, or the support and resistance areas, the sensitive areas on this chart. It's the one here and the one above, right? So now let's just check where's the market going in terms of the trend. So the trend is definitely bearish because we were bullish. We had a bullish trend line there. It was removed and the price moved all the way down. So currently we are still very much bearish. Yes, we are inside the support. It's a higher time frame structure. It's on monthly. The bulls will try there to defend their zone, to at least try and push the price up, because they can't allow the bears to just melt and move all the way to the downside. They will always try and defend their structures. The same way when the price touched their trend line here, they really tried to defend it, because you can see the price moved up to at least there. It started here, they tried to push it up, but the bears came again and defeated them. Then they got to their area of support here. They tried to defend it again. They tried to, you can see the white candlestick here. They were trying to defend this support, but they failed again. Now again, where we are, you see where we are. They tried to defend it again here. You can see there's a bullish candlestick, but they failed to maintain that movement moving to the upside. So even now, because of what, we are still back in the same support. The support, it's not fresh. That's the negative thing, because it was formed this side and it was tested here, and we tried to touch it again. So you can see it has been tested before, so it's not fresh. It might fail. Now if it fails, meaning if the price breaks it, there will be a very huge chance that the price will now be going for this. It's a possibility now to say that should the current support be removed, then we will be left with no choice but to try and push until what, there will be nothing along the way that will, where we will find a lot of bulls who will try and push the price up, meaning the price could potentially drop all the way until this zone. But we will get to that one only if the price takes out the current one. So that's all that we are seeing here. We're saying that we're inside the support. We can always try and look for buy trades because of the location, but it cannot be the longest, long term trade, because of what, the big time frames are still pushing to the downside. So we can't have a long term trade. We just say the location allows us to try and get a buy trade, but it will be just us moving from this structure to the next one, and then we are out. So let's check the structure on weekly. All right, let's check weekly. All right, so this is what we have on weekly. Weekly, in terms of the structures, looks more or less the same as our monthly, because of what, we are just inside a support here. This is the current support. I'm trying to make it as accurate as possible. We can just say it ends here, so that we can see if it was broken or not. So it ends there, somewhere there. Let's just move it closer. Yes, it ends there. So that's our support. Basically, I'm taking this point here. So that's our support, and you can see here currently we haven't moved lower than 8, meaning we haven't broken that support. And we can just say anywhere around maybe like this, we can take that as our resistance to say that this is the weekly resistance. And even on the weekly, the structure is definitely moving to the downside, and we can put a bearish trend line to say that for this trend, the trend line is there. So now we are about to touch that. I mean, we are inside the monthly support, and the weekly support ends at this lowest point that I marked there. So anywhere from where we are, we're just looking for any sign that the bulls are trying to defend the zone, because if the bulls don't show us they want that they are coming in, we are not going to give them a chance and say we are buying, because of what? The structures are moving to the downside. So we will wait for them to give us confirmation that maybe they are giving us a bullish engulfing, or they're giving us a bullish pin bar, whatever that you use as a confirmation. If they don't give you that, then there's no way you can try and give them the benefit of the doubt, because the structures are pushing to the downside. So for now on this one, we can just say the price is still very much to the downside. We don't yet have anything that's going to say to us we can start on buying. So that's the structure on weekly. We know the location, we're inside the monthly zone and stuff like that, but we need something that the bulls will say we are coming in, give us a chance. So let's check if they will do that on the daily chart, maybe. If not, then still it's not going to be easy for us to say we are buying, because just because we are inside the monthly support, it's not enough for us to just go blindly and start pulling the trigger and buying. No, we need something, because the structures are pointing to the downside. I understand the location, we're inside the support, but also keep in mind that that support is not fresh, so it's not easy for us to trust it. So that's why we need to wait for the bulls to give us confirmation inside that zone, the very same zone that we are in. Then that's when we can start taking the trades to the upside, because the structures don't allow us to trade to the upside without having to get anything that's gonna say to us, now I think the price is about to go up. Because what? The trend is bearish on all the time frames that we've looked at so far. So now this is the structure that we have on daily. And in terms of the structure or the trend, we can also say that it's definitely moving to the downside. If you want, you can put your trend line there, and this is the resistance that we were saying, we were hoping that it was going to touch it and continue going to the downside. I had a look and a discussion of this one with some of my students. I think it was it yesterday or Friday, and we were just targeting that. I think it was Friday. We were just talking about the trend being bearish, and this being the key structure, a very strong one, and us still being bearish, we have a chance of that holding and still continue to the downside. You can see that the price sort of felt the hit from that, but it didn't touch it, and then it continues. So we are still very much bearish even on this time frame. So you can see that all these time frames that we have looked at so far, they have nothing that says that the bulls are coming in. This used to be a very sensitive area for the bulls, them trying to defend it, but even here they try to defend it. That's why we have that white candlestick, and then the bears won. So this area, that's why it was that strong, because of what? It is located around the old area of support that the bulls have been trying to defend, and now it was defeated. So that's why when the price was going up towards that, we were saying that it has a chance of reacting from that. So even now on daily, there's still nothing that's pointing to the upside. Everything's pointing to the downside, which is what makes it difficult for us to pull the trigger inside this monthly zone, because there's nothing so far that says that the bulls will come in. So let's check maybe H4. What do we have on the H4? Okay, the H4 is the one that looks slightly different. But again, the fact that we are having all those bigger ones still pointing to the downside, it makes this to be something that I wouldn't feel comfortable in doing. So we can say that the daily is currently, let's see, at the very strong area of support. Whether you put your trend line, maybe to say that when you're going to the downside, you put your trend line there and say it has been removed, and all of that was started by the same guy that we are inside. We are currently inside. It's a very strong one in a sense that it pushed up, it broke areas of resistance, and it broke the very same bearish trend line that I'd marked there. So now we are back inside that zone, and you can see when the price touched it, if you look here, there is a candlestick that looks like this, which is a bullish pin bar. This is the one that suggests that the bulls are trying to reject the price. But I always tell you on this channel to say, when you get in this and you maybe want to take some confirmation. If you don't break the range of that candlestick, then it's pointless, because if the bears still continue taking you down out in the like from the other side, then they're going to invalidate this. So we touch the support, but because I remember I'm saying that you need to be careful of the support because of what? Yes, I do understand it's a strong one that pushed up, breaking the bearish trend line, taking out areas of resistance, but the fact that it doesn't have any backup because of what? Yes, I understand us being inside the weekly support, the monthly support, but that's not enough, because there's nothing besides just the location that says that the poles are kicking in. They tried here, they touched their zone on H4, they tried to form the pin bar, but they didn't break the range on the other side. Now the bears are forming this strong candlestick, the bearish one. And even the zone is not the strongest when you're trying to assess it. But you know, that's why we are saying, yes, we are inside a very nice, it's a sensitive area. Let me not say nice. It's a sensitive area that can hold the price, but the pin bar, if the pin bar failed, we might end up just breaking the whole thing. So you're gonna need to be very, very careful with this one, because of what? There's nothing really that says we are gonna go up, we are gonna go up. There's nothing. So let's check H1, because even in the H1, the structure looked a bit nicer. We were going up and we pushed all the way up. We had a bullish trend line. You can put it somewhere there. We had a bullish trend line which was removed, and even the areas of support removed. And the price, we had talked about this zone to say that this is a zone that did all of that, and when the price goes back to it because of what it did, it has a potential to even cause it to continue going to the downside. And you can see the price tried to reach for that, touched it there or missed it slightly, and then there's a pin bar, and then it dropped. There's a lady that asked me about this, and then we were just having discussion about it, and then it dropped like that. So now this is why I'm saying, because the bulls, remember here, this is where you had that H4 pin bar where the bulls were trying to get us the strength to push up, but they failed. They didn't do anything. H1 still bearish. You can put the bearish trend line there, and then this is the zone, right? So now let's talk about what you can do from here, and I want you to listen to me, right? Because there's a high possibility that the weekly zone can be taken out. Even this H4 that we saw here, the daily ones, everything can be taken out. We can still open more space to go all the way down because of that. But because there's also something that says that, even like especially on the H4 where we are saying, because of that, what this guy did, him pushing up there, there's a possibility that he can try and defend this, maybe go up to at least there. There's also that leap of hope. There's this, let's just see. So here what you can do, if you want to try and how can I put this, and take a trade to the upside, you can just say, let me say the bearish trend line is here, the bearish trend is holding, but because of this zone where it is located, I'm just going to give it the benefit of the doubt and say it will hold the price and push it up. But what I can do, maybe now that the price has touched it, you can move to M15 and look for any signs that the bulls are kicking in. Then you're gonna take advantage of that, but you're going to be targeting the trend line, right? That's the option number one. That's if you want to take a buy. But if this is taken out, you'll just continue selling. I'm just giving you what to do for you to catch a buy in a situation like this, where most of the stuff are pointing to the downside. You can just move to M15, try and see if you can't get confirmation there, and just target this. That's option number one. Option number two, you can just remain here on H1 and then hope for the price to show you that the bulls are kicking in. It needs to do that at least. When it does that, it will remove the bearish trend. Then you can just identify this and try and catch it from there. You can do it like that because of what? It's not easy for you to just go in without getting the confirmation, simply because of what we saw on the other time frames. So I think I'm going to end it there. You just need to wait for the price to show you what it wants to do here. Maybe you use M15, target that, but because there's a possibility that it might break it, that's why we cannot go in without confirmation. You need to wait for it to show you that it wants to go up, then you can take it. So without the confirmation here, a buy trade, it's a suicide. Simple, as easy as that. All right, guys, let's leave it here, and then I'll see you guys in the next video. You need to be careful with this one. It can end up being a very, very nice trade, but you need to be careful with how you go about it. It does make some nice moves, but it needs to show you, you need to have the odds in your favor, the odds on your side, so that you've got the chances of winning the trade. Otherwise, you'll just be jumping in and then it will just swallow your account. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. In today's video, we are going to do VIX 75 1S. So let's get into it. All right, so you know that we have to start with the highest time frame, check the bigger picture, then we drill down until the smallest time frames where we'll be taking our trades. So this is how our monthly looks. You can see that it's been dropping for a very long time. Then we stayed here. Now it's only a matter of saying, can we go up? I doubt. I mean, after what the bears have shown here, the strength to push to the downside, the bulls haven't had like a serious momentum going up. You can see they just had this, and which only went until the areas of resistance, and they were defeated and pushed back to the downside again. So trusting the bulls for a long run, it's not an easy one. But now things could be a bit different, because I do understand that they've been pushing, the bears pushing to the downside. But if you're someone that plans long-term trades, I can tell you now that we were very much bearish. We had a bearish trend line there, and here's our area of support that we are sort of touching now. So this is a very, very strong area of support, because it is the one that pushed the price up and broke the resistance, meaning it went higher than the resistance, and it also broke the very same bearish trend line that I have marked here. So basically, it is the one that pushed the price towards the bull side. So for that reason, now the price is touching the very same support that did all of that, and it is still very much fresh. So I wouldn't be surprised if the price starts pulling from this support and go all the way up to at least here, to at least there, right? But if you don't get confirmation, remember, the bears, you can't rule them out because of what they did here. The bulls haven't had a good run ever since, at least with the candlesticks that I have, they have never had anything happening, right? So for that reason, even if you're taking that buy trade here, I don't think they will reverse it all the way to the upside. So make sure that you get like a good entry here. But I do feel like before the year end, maybe, because when the bulls are going up, they are not so strong. So maybe they will try and push up to at least that. They do have that potential, unless if the bears don't give up and take the support out, then you'll have to say, let's just continue. The bears are back in power and control, then we continue selling in their favor like that. But for now, on this monthly chart, this is the support that has a potential to push up to at least there. That's it. Let's bring up weekly and see what we have that side. All right, so this is our weekly chart, and the structure here looks, I would say, not it's like identical to what we saw on the monthly, in a sense that we were also going to the downside, having the same bearish trend line. And this guy here that we are approaching is the one that changed the dynamics, is the one that pushed up into the bullish trend. But they were bullish on this chart, and we had a bullish trend line there, and it has been taken out, right? And now this chart is also bearish, but we are back at the support that changed the dynamics when it was formed, and it is found inside the monthly one that also did the same. So this zone here also has a potential to push up. So remember where it is located, it is a potential to bounce from there. So we don't have much to comment on this one. And now we are on daily. I think on daily we will also have the same thing happening, because of what we were bearish, and the last bearish trend line we could put was somewhere there, and it was broken because of the guys from here. These are the guys that pushed up, and the price also went higher than the resistance, which means our daily became bullish. We could put a bullish trend line. Unfortunately, it was removed. The support was removed. So currently our daily is bearish, but also keeping in mind that even if the daily is bearish, trying to take those trades to the downside that you can hold for mid-term, not long-term, but maybe a couple of weeks. It's I don't think it's gonna be wise, keeping in mind that we are about to touch that monthly support, the weekly support. So this daily can just be that last push to push the price back into those areas that I just mentioned before they can recollect the bulls and push all the way up. So if you are someone that's going to be trading using the structures on daily, you need to keep in mind that you were bullish, you had this, and this guy here, you will have to be mindful of this guy because he's the one that pushed it down. He broke the support, he broke the bullish trend line. So you cannot overlook that. So when you are dipping into that, getting your buy trades, this has to be included in your take profit if you're someone that's trading on daily. So on daily, we are saying the same thing we said with other time frames. From this zone here, there's a potential of it going up, and I think it's also located inside the weekly and the monthly. So you can see all the odds now, they are starting to favor the bulls, but we can't trust them to that point because of what? When you're looking at the long term, the bears are the ones that have been pushing all the way to the downside. So because of that, we will need to be very careful when we trust in the bulls. They need to prove themselves that they want to take over. Now this is what we have on H4, which was bullish, and we could put a bullish trend line there. And the bullish trend line, basically, I want you to pay attention here. Let's just check if the zone was removed as well. I want to check here. Okay, the zone was not removed, but when you look at the trend line, because the trend line that we had, it was here. It was here, and those that took the mentorship, they know what happens when a trend line alone is removed, because we are saying the support is not removed at the time. Trend line alone is removed, the market structure changes a bit, which means you are allowed to look in both directions from this resistance here and from the same support, right? The price touched the support, you can see, gave you some pin bars. You take that, you're targeting the next resistance, then you are out, which is what? The same one that I marked here. The price touches the resistance, and now it gives you a bearish trend line, and then you're like, okay, the market conditions, they allow me to try and look for a sell trade. You're taking that, what you call is the pin bar, and you reacted, and then it pushed all the way to the downside. Now completely, the H4 became bearish, right? It being bearish because of what? This was removed. So currently we can say it's still bearish. Let's just check. We can put a bearish trend line here just to see if this sideways movement that has been going on for over, I think, 2 days or 3, if it has changed anything. So let's just start it from there and say this is our trend line, right? So our trend line is somewhere there, and when you look at what is happening here, we did break the trend line, but it was not the bulls showing the strength that they want to take out the bearish trend line. Because of what? We are just moving to the side. It's still not decided. Unlike when we go up and break the bearish trend line. Yes, we broke the bearish trend line, but I don't think the bulls really, they are aware of what they did there. It was just them balanced with the bears, and then we ended up moving to the side and ended up on the other side of the trend line. So because of that, you can say, even if you try and look for a zone here, it's just going to be too congested. So for that reason, I will still keep my eyes on this H4 support here, which is going to be inside the daily one, the weekly one, and stuff like that. So because we just took out the trend line, but the resistance is up there and we haven't taken it out, basically we are just focused on this and this one, which means we just took out the trend line, then the market conditions change a little bit. We are more like consolidating. So because of that, we can focus on this support and see if we can get a trade. Maybe the price will push to the downside. When it does this, remember, that's when we said you can look for buy trades, but also keeping in mind that for long term, these bears have been dominating, pushing the price all the way to the downside. And remember where we are. I think it was on what was it? On daily, when we had said that the market changed, the structure changed a little bit. We moved to the downside, and we are hoping that all these pin bars or this pause here will result in one last push to the downside. Then the price will enter this zone on daily, the weekly, and the monthly as well, and even on H4, because we are saying that on H4 we are currently consolidating, and maybe if the price will just push one last time to the downside into this zone, into the daily one, then that's where we will say, I think buying is a good idea, because currently even if we are on the other side of the trend line, and because we broke it and then you put this here, it's not a good structure the way you broke it, because we can't even locate a zone there. So that's why I'm still having my eyes there to say that, remember, consolidation, I can keep it there and take it that one there. Maybe let's check one more time frame, which is H1, and see how is the structure here. The same thing here. We just broke the bearish trend line. We were bearish. We broke the bearish trend line, but the resistance, we never went higher than it. So that's when we can say that the bulls, yes, they broke the trend line, but they haven't removed the second structure of this base, which is what the key structure, which is what their resistance. You didn't defeat them fully. Yes, you removed their trend line, but we cannot take them out and say they've been defeated, they are out, you're going up, until you remove their resistance. And this is the support that started all of that pushed the price up, breaking the trend line. You came back, bounced from it. That's why we are saying H1 is consolidating between this zone and this zone. So basically, when you are here, I want a different color. Okay, let's take yellow. So basically, when the price is at this support, when it comes to the support, you are allowed to take a buy, and when it comes to that resistance, you go out, you sell. And with what? With confirmation. Because of what? We are not going in one direction. The bulls are not fully in control, the bears are not fully in control. So that's why at the resistance, we'll give the bears a chance. At the support, we'll give the bulls a chance, because this is their zone. So you just need to wait for the price to touch one of the two, and then you get the confirmation, then you sell. Like now, you are at the resistance. If you get the confirmation to sell, you can sell targeting what? The support, at least until one of them is broken. And according to the structures that we saw on the other time frames, we said that the support might end up being the one that's broken, because of what? We're saying something like this, at least to touch here is possible. So that's why this pause here that we are in, or this consolidation here that we are in, might end up taking out the support. So enough for now. What you need to do is just there at the resistance, you sell, you target the support, and then you get to the support. If you get the confirmation, you sell. If not, then it will break. Then you can continue selling like that, but keeping in mind that you are going to exit here, because that's where the monthly one is going to be touched as well, and the very same monthly that we had said that it is very, very strong. Remember, you are around the same monthly, so you need to be very careful with selling. So you just need to make sure that's why I'm saying on those smaller time frames, the selling is for short term, because if these bulls here at the support kick in strongly, they have a potential to push all the way up there. So you mustn't take a sell and hope that it will break this support. Yes, it's possible, but you don't have to do it like that. You just have to say, I'm taking a sell and I'm going to exit at the support, and then because there's a potential of the bulls kicking in and then reversing everything and then taking it all the way to the upside. The same thing we saw on the weekly, where we are saying that the weekly also, we just want it to touch here, then we'll take it up. So you can see that the bulls, the structure is about to favor the bulls, but only if they give us the confirmation. But for now, on a day-to-day type of a trading, you just say, I don't have any direction. I'll just say, take a buy from there, take a sell from here, take a buy from there. Like currently, if you want, you can just say, I do know that the main structure is consolidating, but let me try and put this. It's not yet broken. So you can see there's nothing that you can use. For now, just focus on that and then focus on this. So just basically something like this until the price does that, or it pushes to the downside, breaking the resistance. You don't have to predict when that is going to happen. If the market wants, it can still continue doing this. So that's why when your only focus is to move from this to that, and then you are done. All right, guys, that's all. I think that's all that I can say on this VIX 75 1S. I'll see you guys in the next video. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. All right, guys, take care.